So we're back at Underground Performance with lead mechanic Harry. Harry's done a bit of work in the background. He's pulled off the gearbox and we're about to pull out the old clutch. It's done about 160,000 K, so we're keen to see what it looks like on the inside. Harry, do you want to pull this thing off and we'll take a look?
Let's have a look and see what we can find with this old clutch that we've got here. We've taken it off now and let's have a look at the condition of it and see what we find. So here we have the clutch. This is the friction plate here that we can see on the front. And you can see that it's got like a little bit of a scoring. It's still in an okay condition considering how many Ks it's got. And then this is the other pressure plate that goes along it. From this pressure plate, you can have a look and you can kind of see these little burn marks that are down here.
Yeah.
Now when we drove it, it was still driving quite well. But you can see that these burn marks will get larger and cause damage over time. So good preventative maintenance getting this new clutch in. Absolutely. To make sure that we can put the power down and get you on your way.
Awesome. Well, let's take a look at this new one. So Australian Clutch Services have supported the project with a new single mash flywheel clutch. Look at this beauty.
Oh,
quite
she
nice.
is a gem.
So this will obviously give us an opportunity to get a little bit more power to the car. You know, without having those burn spots that you're talking about.
Definitely, definitely. I find that these clutches do very well in Australia in making sure that for your application, making sure that we can put that power down and make sure that you don't have any issues drivability wise.
Yep.
From engine to transmission.
Excellent. All right, let's get this bad boy in, hey?
Let's do it.
Awesome.
All right, here's the last bolt holding in the dual mass flywheel. And this is the dual mass flywheel, which is the factory version that's in the vehicle. Dual mass meaning there are two masses to absorb vibration and make the driver have an easier takeoff going down the road. Here you can also see the same burn marks that we saw on the pressure plate, which is on the flywheel, which is going to be replaced with a single mass with this one that we've got down here, with new bolts, torque to spec, with the new gear for our starter to go onto as well.
Slightly different?
Yeah, they are. Visually, they are quite different. So on this one here, you can see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 main contact points.
Yep.
And on this one, it's just a big round contact patch.
Sure.
We also have a few springs inside the old one here, which we still retain on the new one that we're going to be installing.
Yep.
With these plates here, some people call them pucks, other people call them little bite points. This is going to ensure that we've got a higher clamping force than what we normally would have had with our OEM one.
Sure.
Which means that we should be able to put through a lot more power and it's still going to hold it all the way through. So when Alex does spin it up on the dyno, we know that we're going to get consistent readings all the way through.
Excellent. And it's going to be a little bit firmer from a clutch feel perspective now as well, isn't it?
Yes, you will still get a firmer or a stronger pedal feel, but because we still have these springs in the center of this one as well as the OEM one,
yep.
You still have a little bit of play. So when you're at the lights and you're taking off, it won't bite and cause the car to shake. You'll still get that nice smoothness,
yep.
But with these pucks that are here, it'll just bite down a little bit harder than what the OEM would have. You can only go in one certain direction.
It's already looking much better.
I love a new piece of metal in the car. All right, so she's in. Now we'll have a look at the manufacturer's specification on what torque is required to install this single mass flywheel. All 6 bolts need to be done up to 60 Newton meters, and then after that we do 90 degrees on each one of these bolts, doing them up in the same way that you would do a wheel to put the load evenly across the whole flywheel. I will need some assistance doing that, so if you can give me a hand. Right, so this is the clutch aligning tool that we use to align the clutch. It sits inside this plate here, and it makes sure that when we bolt it up to the flywheel, that it sits exactly in the center of the flywheel, so that the gap at the top is exactly the same as the bottom. And then we can put on the pressure plate that goes over the top and secure it into place using the correct torque specs given, to ensure that we've got a nice, perfect centered new pressure plate, friction plate onto your single mass flywheel.
Okay, great.
And with the supplied securing bolts, we'll put them in with the correct torque, and that way I'm very confident that we've got it in the right location.
Looks much better in there.
So while we are building this car to go fast, we do understand the importance of stopping at the end of the straights. I have driven this car. It does have a few Ks on the clock. Brakes do shudder quite a bit, so while an OE replacement would have probably been sufficient, we are putting more power into it, so we do want to make sure we have the brakes to match. So DBA come on board with these Club Spec T3 series rotors, kangaroo paw technology, and a really nice slotted face there. And with the pads to match, we've got the Xtreme Performance, also from DBA, so it should pull up really nicely. Okay, so we're moving on to some real race car stuff now, and we wanted to make sure that we had a really good foundation for the suspension. We are doing a complete overhaul, but we weren't sure whether to go with a separate shock and spring combination or a full coilover. Now, luckily, Petters have come on board, and we've got these great Sports Rider Xtreme adjustable coilovers. Now, these are going to give us full adjustability. We've got 30-way bump and rebound, plus ride height. Let's take a look. So, front coilovers here, really nice, solid units. We've got adjustability at the top, plus ride height. Now these also have factory bolt-in mounts. That's going to make this a complete bolt-in job. So it's great for the DIYer, but an easy job for a performance workshop like Underground. Rear shocks, again, adjustability here. And rear shock bodies, damper, ride height, really nice stuff. And of course the all-important C-spanners, so we can make all those fine adjustments to get these handling and sitting exactly where we want them.